use all the yarning now. It's quite early for me. I normally do my knitting first to lumber up, but I really want to try and get this finished today, so I don't actually think I will, because I've still got to do top stitching around here, put the foam stabilizer in, top stitch along here, and then fold the second flap in and top stitch down here, which is going to be awkward because of the yes, top stitch across here, and then fold the flap in and top stitch down here, which is going to be awkward because of the snap flap. I keep calling it snap tab, but it's a bit too big to be just a tab. I also have to top stitch a little bit here because for some reason it's not gone through. I stitched here, but it hasn't gone through, and I didn't notice at the time. So if you thread your needle like this, you double strand it, but put the ends on the short side, so the loop's on the long side. Then when you just going to go in on the side. Oops. Oh, that's too far. Right, so when you go in, you leave the loop out, and then you go through the loop, pull, and you don't need a knot. Yes. Now, when I set this section, I line them up perfectly. And this section must be wider because it doesn't want to line up, and I've already top stitched it, so at the spine, so it does not want to behave. So I'm going in at an angle instead. Now I don't have an iron, so the most I can do to press seams is use my thumb. It's usually enough to straighten the seams, but with this many layers, you can tell it's not entirely. But on the top stitch side, it's not a problem. So once it's top stitched down, I'm calling it top stitch even though it's technically, I think, a running stitch. But if you were using a machine, it would be top stitch. So most people I know will be doing this sort of thing, will be using a machine. I've thought about getting a machine, but there's a lot of reasons I physically can't handle one. But I also, I quite like there's something therapeutic about stabbing something a bunch of times. I feel like I have more control when I do it by hand. if I used a machine, I'd be terrified of going too fast, not having time to think. I have a lot of cognitive problems, like not learning difficulties, just the ME makes it difficult to think fast. So yeah, I think a machine would be a bad idea. I can't decide though if I should top stitch. I think I'm probably going to, because it looks a little weird with just 3 sides done. But if I do a top stitch there, it will knock off another 1/8 inch for the hook pockets. Which I don't think is going to be really a problem. And there's plenty of room at the flap edge. So, what do you guys think? I think it'll look better with the top edge, top stitch on all 4 sides. Although I'm reaching the stage of the project where I just kind of want to be done, so finding more things to sew. And this is after I've done all the embroidery. You would think it wouldn't be a problem, but I kind of just don't want to add any more sewing if I can avoid it. I am really pleased with how it's turning out though, which is unusual. Usually I get to this stage of a project and absolutely hate it. There's things about the front that, I don't know, I wish I'd picked brighter beads, for instance. But I'm quite pleased with how the bead turned out. And I can always add an embroidery at a later date. The leaves, you can't really tell that they're embroidered, but it does add a bit of texture. I did the spine too. I got this idea from, I'm not sure, I don't remember. I saw, I was looking for ideas on how to construct, what kind of a crochet case. Most are rolls or, the traditional cases. They don't really work for the hooks that I'm collecting. But I saw, I don't think it was even a crochet case. Somebody had used the fabric name in the selvage to add a bit of embroidery. Does that count as embroidery or an applique? I don't know. I'm calling it applique because you would add it on, and that's an embroidered applique. But I don't know. I don't know the terminology, so I could be completely wrong. I got to, for the tutorial I'm trying to write on how to make this, I've had to basically write an entire dictionary because I'm using terminology that I don't think is officially what you would use. Yeah, things like backstitch and top stitch and stuff like that. That's fine. I've picked that up from patterns and whatnot. But like what I call, this is obviously the spine and this is the strap. And these are very obviously pockets. I've got cat hair in my mouth. And I'm probably overthinking it. I probably don't need, but I figured a diagram, what's the internal pocket, what's the front cover, what's the, not internal pocket, internal spine, external spine, pocket slots, snap flap, etc. I thought a diagram would be beneficial even if I am using the wrong terminology. I tell you what though, top stitching two sides at once is tricky. This one's not doesn't look as good, which is why I'm doing it this right way around, because this is the outside. It's what people will see the most often, myself included. Yeah, I'm not going to get as much done today as I was hoping. It doesn't help that I keep waking up with pins and needles, and it's fairly common, but they are lasting for ages. It's like having to position my arms in all sorts of weird places to get rid of them, and then as soon as I go back to normal, they come back. It's my back's hurting a lot more, my hip. It's getting me down a little bit, to be honest. But I don't think you are watching this to hear me complain. So normally I just laugh things off, it's how you survive, I think. You find things to laugh about. Not just chronic illness, but to survive life at this point, I think. You just have to laugh it off, otherwise you just cry yourself into a grave. Wow, that's morbid, sorry. But yeah, sometimes it's harder to laugh it off. Okay, my pins and needles are coming back, so I think once this thread's done, I'm going to pack this up for now. I can't really feel the needle, which will be a bonus when I stab myself with it, but it's making it difficult to. Okay, now if I was a true pacer, I would stop now, but I don't like leaving things dangling, as it were. So I will finish this thread, if it's the last thing I do. Ready for a drink. non-alcoholic drink, by the way. I don't drink early anymore. Well, I don't drink at all anymore. I've never really been much into alcohol, but I'm on sertraline, very low dose, to help balance my mood out. I used to like a nice glass of Baileys at Christmas. You know, when Tesco was doing they dropped the litre bottle down to £12, and then if you had a club card, you could get another £2 off. Another £2 off, I mean. And that would last me the entire Christmas season. It was delicious. Although, you know, sometimes I needed ice in it because it's quite strong. Anyway, the last time I tried it, I didn't really think, I mean, they tell you if you're on medication like that not to drink, and they don't really tell you why. And, you know, it shouldn't matter. You know, I listen to the doctors if they tell you not to do something, except eat yourself to death. But anyway, I didn't really think about it, and I had a glass of Baileys, and I exaggerate a lot, but I'm not exaggerating when I say this. I swear to God, I felt like I was drunk for 3 days straight. I was dizzy, giddy. Now, I've never actually been drunk, so I don't know if that's what I would be like as a drunk. But yeah, it was bizarre. I haven't touched a drop since because I don't... The reason I don't get drunk is I don't like feeling like I'm out of control. It's bad enough, you know, when you can't control a lot of things like well, being chronically ill, you can't control a lot of your life, and I hate that. So just the loopiness, just I was so out of it for 3 days. It was, oh, I don't understand, you know, no, I don't want to sound judgmental. I just don't understand how people willingly do that to them. I can't stand that feeling of just, ugh. It's like, ugh. I never really have. It's my personality, I think. I just don't like feeling like I'm out of control, even before the ME. But yes, I always wake up with a sore throat, and I haven't had a drink yet because I wanted to play. I mean, I wanted to work. I wanted to work on this a little bit. Having dreams about this thing. I don't normally dream either. Or if I do, I don't remember it. But yes, I was having weird... I can't remember them. I can't tell you about them. I just remember the hook book coming up in my dream. Right. Fasten off here. Unfortunately, I haven't figured out how to fasten off without a knot, so what I do is, on the side that's going to be least obvious, of course the needle doesn't want to go in, that's it, is I just go through the same spot a few times to make it less likely that if the thread, well, to make it harder for the thread to unravel. Snip. And I did it where it is because, well, it's on the inside, so, you know, if it was going to be like that, then yeah, it'd be obvious when you open the book. But like this side, you can tell that one, but only if you really pull the flap back, and most of the time the flap will actually cover it. So, you know, you shouldn't need to pull the flap all the way back. So yeah, and that's that. I don't think I cut it close enough, so I'm just going to cut that again. Meow! Oh, have you brought me pink kitty? Have you brought me pink kitty? Yeah. You going on adventures? Where are you going to take her next? Hmm? You're going to take her out for din-dins? The older she gets, the more judgmental she gets. She's a senior now, if you can believe that. 7 years old. I'd better see what my cat wants.